and as we get closer to the e-invoice implementation for phase 3, we are actually coming up with simple guides to actually assist Autocount users to implement e-invoice as seamless as possible. But before we begin, I would like you to see whether you would like to support us to create more content like this. Do like and subscribe, as it will actually help us to reach more people who might find what we do really helpful. Alright, so with the introduction of e-invoice, we will be actually looking at 5 different kind of customers we will be dealing with and the information we will need to update in our Autocount system. Alright, okay, so the first type of customers that we'll be looking at would be customers who are actually an organization. This means companies like Sdn Bhd company, sole proprietor, partnerships, and also LLP. So now when we want to update our customer, we will need to create a new tax entity. So to do that, we can press debtor maintenance. And let's say example, I want to create a customer called custom certified Sdn Bhd. Okay, so now with e-invoice, we now need to update this thing called tax entity. We can come and drop down here and we can press add new to create a new tax entity. Okay, so because custom is a local company, I will select category as business and I will select this as local business. So once we have that, you see the TI number and registration number. These two are asterisk, means it's compulsory to be filled up. So how to fill up? You must actually request from custom. Example, what is your TIN number? What is your registration number? Okay, so let's say for example, I already have the registration number. I can actually copy here and I can put registration number, TIN number here, and we put here. If you don't have a MSIC code, you can actually leave this as 00000. Okay. Okay, so then after that, we will put in their phone number. Let's say for example, this will be their phone number, email address, and also office address. Okay, so we just need to fill up all the other particular details, and then this is it, Petaling Jaya. Okay, and then once we're done, we can actually press save. And from here, it's already linked to your custom certified Sdn Bhd tax entity information. Okay, so this is for a local company or organization. What happens if you are dealing with a foreign customer? Okay, so we just need to come again to debtor maintenance. And let's say for example, we tag booking.com is your customer. Okay, so we can come to the tax entity here. We can type here booking.com. So because we will need to create e-invoice, we will need to create a new tax entity here. We just press add new, and from a category, we will select business, and for the type of business, we use foreign business. So once we take foreign business, you will realize that the compulsory field for TIN and registration number has been removed. All you just need to fill up is their particular details at the bottom, and you can press save to create your booking.com customer. Okay. Okay, so for the next type of customers, we're actually going to be looking at customers who are individuals. For this type of customers, we actually have 2 options when it comes to e-invoice. Number 1 is to prepare an e-invoice, and number 2 is actually to prepare a consolidated e-invoice. So for individual customers who actually want an e-invoice, we first will need to create the customer under the debtor maintenance. Okay, click debtor maintenance, and we just put here Jonathan Wong. Okay, so once we create the individual, for those that would need an e-invoice, we must come to tax entity here. We must press add new, and then from here, change the category to individual. Okay, so once we change it to individual, the tax number is no longer compulsory. The next thing that you will need to take note of is actually this called identity type. So if for example, your customer is a local customer or local individual, we must change this to my card. Okay, and then after that, we will key in their IC number. However, if let's say for example, the person is a foreigner, means from Singapore or from Japan or from China, we can change this to passport number. Okay, so when it comes to this, actually a lot of my clients ask me, how would I know whether the passport number is actually a correct number? Right now, based on our trials and our testing, what happens is LHDN does not have any form of tracking whether or not the passport number one is valid or has expired already. So whatever passport number you have keyed in right now, when you send for validation, it will automatically validate your e-invoices. Okay, all right. So the next kind of customers that you might have is customers who might not want an e-invoice or might not want to share their information with you. So when you have customers like this, you cannot do a tax entity because they don't give you their IC number or their passport number. And there's only one way of doing it, and that is to do a consolidated e-invoice. So for Autocount, how you want to create a consolidated e-invoice is from here, we press cash sales debtor. So once you press cash sales debtor, this part is grayed out and you can no longer create a e-invoice for this particular customer. Okay, so when we create the invoice, you will automatically move into consolidated e-invoice. And if in the future they would like to change and you would like to request an e-invoice, you can always untick here and ask them for their details, and you can create it again with new invoice details and can validate it as an individual e-invoice. Okay. Okay, so apart from this, there's actually another type of customers that we will be dealing with, especially if you are doing an online store like Shopee or Lazada. Okay, so in this scenario, this local marketplace would be the one creating the e-invoice on behalf of the seller. This means from our end, we do not need to validate our invoices created for the sales through Shopee and Lazada. So because of that, I usually recommend my clients to create a customer called Lazada customer. So you can come here to debtor maintenance, create this customer called Lazada customer. Okay, and then what happens is, because Lazada will create the e-invoice on behalf of you, so we do not need to validate our e-invoices that we created inside the system. We just need to tick this thing called do not submit e-invoice. Okay, so as long as you're dealing with a local marketplace, we just tick this do not submit e-invoice, and then we will assume that Lazada and Shopee will create the e-invoice on behalf of you. However, if you are dealing with any other online marketplace such as like Amazon or currently Taobao, we cannot tick this because Taobao and Amazon will not create an e-invoice for us. Okay, so these are the different possible scenarios and things that you will need to update for your customers before we begin e-invoice. If you feel that this type of videos are helpful, do like and subscribe again. Okay, thank you.